Hello, Mysteries About True History's fans. Welcome to Riddles, Puzzles, and Problems, where I and Murgatroyd invite you, the listener, to solve a series of brain-teasing riddles, puzzles, and problems. We begin with a riddle. Most drink me in the morning, although I'm black as night. Add sugar, milk, or cream to make me taste just right. One sip gives you a pep. 1 cup keeps you awake. But too much of one ingredient and you might get the shakes. What could the answer be? Let's break down the riddle to find out. You drink me in the morning, although I'm black as night. That's pretty straightforward. The answer is something black that you drink in the morning. Add sugar, milk, or cream to make me taste just right. Kinda sounds like a milkshake. Problem solvers, have you seen any add those things to a black-colored drink? 1 sip will give you a pep. 1 cup keeps you awake. Interesting. I know sugar can give you a jolt of energy, but what else in a morning drink could keep you awake? But too much of one ingredient and you might get the shakes. Oh, wow. This drink really packs a stimulating punch, and it sounds like it's not just from the sugar you add. Any ideas what it could be, potential problem solvers? Here, I'll give you a hint. You are almost certainly too young to drink this drink, but I bet some of your adults drink this. In fact, if they're listening right now with you, they're probably smiling or nodding their head. Who knows? They might have brewed some of this in the morning. Or are even sipping some as we speak. Well, here it is. If you said coffee, you got it. As you may or may not know, coffee has an ingredient called caffeine, and too much caffeine can give even adults the shakes. Which is why kids should not drink coffee. But caffeine is also a stimulant, which gives adults a feeling of energy and alertness and helps wake them up. Which is why they drink it. Especially in the morning. Hi, math fans. You know my voice from playing Max's on Murgatroyd. But in real life, I'm a mom who knows how difficult it is to stay on top of every school subject. Parents, if you're trying to see improvements in math, English language arts, science, and social studies, listen up. iExcel Learning is like having your own personal tutor or problem solver right in your home. Whether you're struggling with a subject, need help studying for quizzes or tests, or want to get ahead and stay ahead, iExcel not only offers interactive practice problems, educational games, lessons, and video tutorials for every topic. It also encourages students to be curious and helps them discover the best ways to learn. It's easy to use, offers instant grading and feedback, and is perfect for homeschool curriculums. Best of all, iExcel is fun. Your child will want to use it. Make an impact on your child's learning and get iExcel now. And Mysteries About True History's listeners can get an exclusive 20% off iExcel membership when they sign up today at iexcel.com/mysteries. Visit iexcel.com/mysteries to get the most effective learning program out there at the best price. For today's adventure, we will need to stop the trolls before they do something nefarious. Which is a fancy word for despicable. To the coffee houses of Osh Kosh. Swap all the caffeinated coffee beans for decaffeinated coffee beans. Now you may be wondering, what are decaffeinated coffee beans? Why, they're coffee beans that don't have any caffeine in them. They're for people who enjoy the taste of coffee but don't want the stimulant. Maybe it keeps them up at night or just makes them feel jittery. But for those Osh Kosh residents who rely on a boost from their caffeinated coffee, unexpectedly replacing it with decaf will lead to a lot of sluggish, sleepy, and confused people. In other words, it could lead to chaos. Exactly what the trolls want. I'd received word of the troll scheme, but I didn't know how they were going to pull it off until I got hold of a coffee jar that held their plans. The only problem was I couldn't open the jar. I tried and tried and tried. But the lid wouldn't budge. I'd given up hope. Then a question appeared on the lid. Aha! The jar was locked with the puzzle enchantment. If I answered the question correctly, the lid would open. Which is heavier, a pound of ground coffee beans or a pound of whole coffee beans? Potential problem solvers, what do you think? Which is heavier? If you said a pound of ground coffee beans and a pound of whole coffee beans weigh the same, that's correct, because they both weigh a pound. Another question appeared on the lid. If a jar full of coffee beans is 3 inches wide and 10 inches tall, how many beans could you scoop out at once using a 4-inch wide spoon? Oh, now that's a tricky one. What do you think? How many beans could you scoop out at once using a 4-inch wide spoon? If you said none, that's correct. The 4-inch wide spoon is too big to fit inside the 3-inch wide jar. The jar opened. Just like that. I had the details of the trolls' plan, and it was diabolically simple. They were going to swap the coffee beans in the bags before they were shipped. The decaf beans would be in the bags marked caffeine, and caffeinated beans would be in the decaf bags. However, they would need to order the beans first. In Osh Kosh, around 4 out of 5 people drink caffeinated coffee, and only 1 in 5 people drink decaffeinated coffee. The local coffee shops use around 20 pounds of beans per day. So, how many pounds of caffeinated coffee do they need per day? First, we take the 4 and 5 caffeinated coffee drinkers and turn them into a fraction, 4 over 5. Then, we take 4 over 5 and multiply it by the amount of beans the coffee shops use each day, 20 pounds. In fraction form, that would be 20 over 1. Written out, the equation would be 4 over 5 times 20 over 1 equals the number of pounds of caffeinated coffee. To calculate 4 over 5 times 20 over 1, first we multiply the top 2 numbers, 4 times 20, which equals 80. Next, we multiply the bottom numbers, 5 times 1, which equals 5. This gives us 80 over 5. That's the number of pounds of caffeinated coffee. But we need a number, not a fraction. So we divide the 80, top number, by the bottom number, 5. 80 divided by 5 equals 16. The answer is 16 pounds of caffeinated coffee per day. Like we said earlier, the coffee shop uses a total of 20 pounds of coffee beans per day. 20 pounds minus the 16 pounds of caffeinated beans leaves us with 4 pounds of decaffeinated coffee beans. To pull off their plan of switching the caffeinated beans with decaf beans, the trolls would need to reverse this order to pull off their plan. Of course, this would look pretty suspicious to a local coffee distributor. I rang up one to ask about any odd orders. Then I had an epiphany, or a big thought. Potential problem solvers. Instead of stopping the trolls before they swapped the bean bags, how could I thwart their plan without ever leaving Osh Kosh? I'll give you a hint. All it would take is a quick trip to the local coffee shop. If you said inform the baristas that their beans had been swapped and that their caffeinated beans were in the bags marked decaf and vice versa, that's correct. Sometimes a complex problem has a simple solution. Still, I couldn't have done it without my morning coffee. So, how'd you do, potential problem solvers? Don't worry if it was a challenge. It's supposed to be. Just go back and listen again and keep trying till you get it. And don't worry, there will be plenty more opportunities to prove you have what it takes to be a problem solver too. I'll be back next Tuesday with another episode of Riddles, Puzzles, and Problems. And be sure to join Max and Molly for another episode of Mysteries About True Histories every Thursday. See you soon.